So this season of Lock and Key is really intense in comparison to the first one. I mean, the stakes are much higher. The pacing is a lot quicker. What was it like for each of you diving into your respective journeys this season in comparison to the first?
It was a lot of fun. It was full of chaos, mischief, a lot of a very crazy power struggle between Gabe and Eden. That working with Griffin as just like Hallea working with Griffin, it was just so contrasting, like when we were on set versus waiting to film or offset and stuff. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's hard to find another word other than fun. Really, I was just scouring my brain for other is that an adjective? I don't know. Haven't done school in a while, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, fun, yeah. It was definitely a challenge, but it was really exciting. You know, there's another word. Because we kind of had to figure it out along the way. And although we sort of knew where season 2 was heading, we didn't have every episode. We didn't know what the overarching, result was going to be or anything. So it was really interesting to see it all kind of unravel in front of us. And we just got to sit there and have a good time.
Well, that's always what you want from a production. So then, Griffin, with you, I mean, you in this season have to walk a much, you have to toe a really thin line of, playing it up for Kinsey as well as playing it up for the audience of your evil. I mean, what is that like? What was that like for you, walking that fine line?
Uh-oh. You know what word I'm going to use? It's a lot of fun. But it was because in real life, I think we were really, I don't say this often, but like genuinely blessed with the cast and the crew that we got, because everyone got along so well and it was so nice. So, Amelia and I have great rapport. So it was a lot of fun to do these scenes and then be like, hey, by the way, I'm fucking coming after you. Ooh, excuse me. I am coming after you. And we would, laugh about that on set and offset. But when we got to do the scenes, it was, it was an experience to sort of both of us to know Gabe's true identity, but she had to play it off and act like she didn't know. And I had to put it on and pretend that I didn't know that she didn't know. Does that make sense? Yeah. There were a lot of things to keep track of, which was definitely a challenge, but I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better group of people to do it with.
So then Hallea, for you, I mean, this whole season just is you practically going chaotic as much as you want, not listening to anybody, including Griffin. I mean, what was that like for you, aside from fun? I guess, what were some of the biggest challenges for you, making sure that Eden still felt just as terrifying as fun to watch?
Really digging into some of the dark crevices of, I think, the basic foundation of a human mind. There are a lot of nuances in the way that I discovered Eden. I don't like to think of it like I prepped Eden. I just feel like I went on set and she was there, and it was a lot of it was in the writing. And already this idea of who we had grown Eden to be in the first season. So it was it was intoxicating. Honestly, that's a word that I would use. It was intoxicating. The adrenaline rush that I got from a lot of the scenes with Eden second season was just, it made me feel on top of the world. And I truly loved so much of season 2, all of it, everything. Every day on set, I was like, I'm a happy girl, because I get to play this crazy character, and I don't have to play like this, just like this side thing, even though I'm kind of Gabe's side thing, but Eden doesn't like that. She doesn't like being a side thing. So she just fights it the whole season, and then, we'll see what happens with that.
With season 3 around the corner. So obviously there are spoilers that I'm not supposed to ask about. So avoiding spoilery sequences, what would you say were some of each of your favorite sequences to film, since there are so many, magical ones as well as just good old fashioned emotional ones?
See, I could definitely give you a list of my least favorite ones, but the favorite ones are a huge. It's a huge tie between all of them. The only reason I say least favorite ones is there is an episode which you will see. Saying too much. The entire thing takes place outside and at night, and so all of the stunt sequences that we did for hours and hours and hours at very early hours in the morning. Night in the dead of winter. So there are some ones that but even filming those was a lot of fun. Oh man, there's that word again. It was just definitely more challenging for sure, but all of the other ones were, you know, exciting. They got your blood pumping, and
I have
the fight sequences involving the fight sequences involving magic, but not as much VFX are my favorite.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff.
Because there's a lot of play pretend, you know, a lot of green screen going on.
One of my favorite scenes was one of the first scenes that we filmed together in Port Stanley. And it was one of the worst nights, just temperature wise. My toes were frozen. But it was such a beautiful, you'll see it without spoiling anything, but it's kind of like on this really like misty water that scene was, for my younger self, I was just like looking around being like, whoa, this is really insane. Because it was just a full circle moment for a lot of things I've worked towards for the last decade of my career. So yeah, there were so many like fight scenes and things where I would just like lie on the floor and I would be like, I love this.
That's awesome. So given the comics of this series has expanded way past the original 6-run issue, do you guys ever go back to the comics for your characters and sort of look to them for inspiration? Is there anything in those that you would like to see come to life in the future?
I mean, personally, characters aren't in the comics.
You're technically kind of like Zach Wells, and I think of myself as a mix between Jordan and Kim Trofer. But no, I didn't go back. I did read all of the books before we started filming season 1. But no, I didn't go into the, like, I kind of took a little bit from Kim and Jordan, and then I kind of just, Eden became this thing that was so much larger than it originally was thought to be. And the writers and showrunners really worked with us to create these characters that were just so unique and original. And
yeah, since Gabe was a new character, I was like, let's have fun and make him a new character.
Yeah.
Well, I think you both do a fantastic job in this season. I think it's a lot of fun. I can't wait for when we finally start getting season 3 as well. But thank you both so much for taking the time to chat. I really appreciate it.